Dasha Burns joins me now. So, Dasha, tell us more about the decision that we are expecting today and what it could mean for women in that state.
So, Vicki, in Arizona, back in 2022, shortly after the overturning of Roe versus Wade, the state implemented a 15-week abortion ban. That is now in the court, and the court's going to decide whether to keep that in place or revert to a much, much narrower ban. A law from 1864. Arizona wasn't even a state back then, but that law outright fully bans abortion except to save the life of the mother. So we're looking at 15 weeks upholding that or going back to this law that predates the statehood of Arizona. And we're waiting to hear the decision from the justices at any moment.
You know, Dasha, last week an abortion rights group in the state announced it had gathered enough signatures for a ballot measure that would ask voters to enshrine abortion rights in the Arizona Constitution. Will this ultimately be up to the voters in November anyway?
Potentially, yes. But here's the problem, Vicki, and this is why the landscape post-Roe is so complicated and so difficult for clinics, providers, and patients to navigate. Because say the Supreme Court upholds or reverts back to this 1864 law, banning abortions outright. That could go into effect and be enforced as soon as 45 days after the Supreme Court decision. The ballot initiative, voters aren't going to get to vote on that until November. And so what happens to those clinics? What happens to those providers in the meantime? Arizona already saw back in 2022 some temporary closures after the fall of Roe. So you've got these this legislation, you've got courts making decisions, and you've got ballot initiatives. And that's happening in states all across the country. And the providers and patients that I've been talking to say it's just created a lot of chaos and confusion and really trouble for people who are looking to find care and doctors who are trying to understand what can and can't I do in this new sort of wild, wild west landscape of reproductive health.
That is the scenario in so many states playing out. Before you go, Dasha, any idea when this ruling could come down?
We have been hearing is around 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm bad with the time math, but hopefully within the next hour we will have some more news for you, Vicki.
All right, Dasha Burns. Dasha, thank you so much. We're going to turn